Hey everybody, just wanted to send you a quick video regarding Murph, which is this Friday, May 24th, and we will start heats at 3:30 p.m. So the gym will be open all afternoon. We'll start our first heat at 3:30 p.m. and I'm going to send out a Google Sheet later today along with this email to make sure that everybody kind of gets in their assigned times. If we have some gaps in times, maybe we'll shrink some stuff together and make sure we have some continuous heats with everybody kind of competing and having fun alongside of each other. We've had a lot of questions about Murph. How do I scale? How do I modify? What's the intention of it? What about the volume and everything like that? And I just wanted to cover a few things about that so there aren't as many questions as a whole, but certainly feel free to reach out to a coach or an owner, ask any questions further than this as we get into it. So, first of all, what is Murph? I think we've talked about it before, but Murph is a 1 mile run followed by 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then another 1 mile run. So technically, you have 2 miles, right? And you have 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 air squats. So the most common question we have is, wow, that is a lot of volume. How am I going to get through that? So let's talk through some of the, kind of break this down a little bit as we go through it, okay? So what's common in terms of scaling modification? What's common in terms of a mindset when it comes to Murph? So here's some things I think about, right? The goal should be to get it done in 60 minutes or less. It is volume on top of volume on top of volume. So if this is a time, hey, I've been really working to get my first pull-up, great, keep working towards that. This isn't probably the time to try and get your first pull-up or your fifth pull-up because of the volume, okay? Very common thing that people do is they partition it. So they'll do their 1 mile run or their variation of the 1 mile run, and then instead of doing 100 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 air squats, they'll partition it, which means they break it up. They could break it up into 5 rounds of 20, 40, and 60, 20 pull-ups, 40 push-ups, 60 air squats. You can partition it down even further to spread that volume out. 10 rounds of 10 pull-ups, 20 push-ups, and 30 air squats. Or you could break it down even further. Cindy style is what they call it. You could do 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 20 air squats. That's going to make it different for everybody. If you have a plan, let's talk it through. If you have some questions regarding your plan, let's talk that through as well. Okay? Let's talk through some scaling, some modification. So we flip over to this side. How do I scale or modify my run? We're going to have a run, 2 options for the run in terms of how you want to do it. One is going to be an out and back, so you'll come out and you'll go south out the parking lot, and then you'll head east on East 10th, and you'll run a half a mile down and come back in the door, and then that'll be a mile. So in terms of that, we're also going to have so you can run circles. So if you really want to run circles and stay nice and close to the building, maybe you have family, friends, or kids here or whatever that is, and you want to keep them close by, we'll have a route mapped out for you to be able to run circles around the building. How do I modify this run? First of all, the standard run's a mile. Second of all, you can cut it in half. So I would say if you can't complete that mile in 12 minutes or less, we should probably scale, modify, or cut it down. Cut it in half. Keep that intensity a little bit higher and cut that volume down. We could switch it to a row, right? 2,000 meters on the rower, 1,600 for the ladies. So 2,000 for the fellas, 1,600 for the ladies. Once again, trying to keep that 12 minutes or less. On a C2 bike, which is probably the most comparable to the run, 4,000 meters for the fellas, 3,200 meters for the ladies. Okay, so that's the run. How do I modify my pull-ups? The standard is a kipping pull-up. Some people like to kind of go hero style and do strict pull-ups. Great, but a kipping pull-up is what the standard is or what the RX version is. We could do a jumping pull-up off the floor, off the box, getting our chin over the bar, locking out at the bottom, but using our lower body or our legs to jump over the bar. You could do banded. On a workout like this, I would suggest having the band horizontal across the rig and to a point where you can still lock out and get that chin over the bar. And then we could do elevated barbell or ring rows where you're more horizontal and you're working through that pull-up fashion. What I would tell you is early on, whatever these variations you choose, you should be able to get through 10 reps unbroken, and maybe it declines or decreases from there. But early on, you should be able to be doing big sets. If you're doing sets of 2, 3, 4, 5 from the beginning, unless you're partitioning it, you're probably picking the wrong movement. We need to scale. We need to modify from there. Okay? Pull-ups. So this is another thing, right? If this takes me 12 minutes, this should probably take me, I would say the most at probably 12 minutes. 15 minutes at max, but probably closer to 12 minutes. Let's move on to push-ups. Standard push-up is chest to an ab mat or chest to the floor, and we lock out at the top of that push-up. You can drop down to your knees, you could drop down to a box, or you could scale or modify to a box as needed. Once again, something early on that you can do 10 reps unbroken, and from there it might decrease, it might change. But go ahead and start off with something that you can hit a little higher volume, because you have to get through 200 of these. Break them up early, break them up often. This is the movement that you're probably going to burn out into singles and doubles and triples as you get tired. If none of these work for you for a push-up, you could also go grab a bench and we could do some dumbbell bench press. But let's talk through what that weight would look like for you individually. Air squats, ton of volume, 300 air squats. So what I would tell you to do is break them up early, break them up often. If anything, it's the movement that I would maybe start off with 10, 15s, 20s, but just take really quick breaks, right? So pull-ups, your hands are going to start getting tired. You're going to take bigger breaks. Push-ups, you're literally going to burn out. It's going to be hard to complete reps. Air squats are something you can probably do more volume on, but you need little quick breaks to kind of recover. Have some water around you, take a quick break here and there, but then get right back after it. Set a 10, 5-second break. Set a 10, 5-second break. Set a 20, 20-second break. Something like that. Just keep yourself moving, standing up, not letting yourself sit down and rest. Modifications for the air squats, standard would be getting your hips below your knees and standing up and locking out. Biggest thing we see with Murph is we start looking like this, right? Get your butt down and stand all the way up. We got to squeeze our butt and extend our hips on the top. If you want a standard, you could go to a box or to a wall ball to make sure you're hitting full depth. You could squat to a box, like a box air squat, to make sure you're sitting down and standing up for a modification. You could also do step-ups. So one of the more challenging things that I've done is modify Murph into 300 step-ups. And that can get very challenging very quickly. But if you have some issues squatting or squatting to depth, or just the volume of the squats will hit you, certainly go ahead and choose a scaling modification that allows you to get that volume in. Remember, you get your run, your pull-ups, your push-ups, your air squats done, and then you have to finish with another run. If you want to partner style this, you can cut it all in half. You can change it up as need be. If you have a certain partner, grab your partner. Let's talk how to break it up, what works for somebody, what works for somebody else. The biggest purpose of Murph is to have that mindset that you're going to grind, you're going to grit through this thing. It is not to tear your hands up, not to do so much volume that you're going to be kind of resting or recovering for 5, 6, 7 days. My mindset would be, if you're doing this on Friday, hopefully by Monday or Tuesday, you're getting back into the gym ready to move. You're not so sore for a week that you can't really do much. Try to limit tearing up your hands. Use chalk, use grips, do what you got to do. If you feel yourself tearing, modify. So if I was planned on coming in and doing a bunch of pull-ups, but my hands start to tear, my calluses start to tear, I'm going to go ahead and modify to some ring rows to make sure my hands are in a good, healthy shape 4 to 5 days from now. So that was a lot of information. Once again, this Friday, May 24th, 3:30 p.m., the first heat will start. Gym will be open early afternoon. If you have any other questions, reach out to a coach and an owner. Thank you.